I want to talk about the real secrets to selling cybersecurity that actually close deals. Because the truth is, most people on the internet don't actually know how to sell cybersecurity, and then the other half actually don't really understand cybersecurity in general. But the real reason that most people don't know how to sell cybersecurity is in this video. And not only am I going to give you the reasons why it's not working, but I'm also going to give you the secrets on how to actually make it work. Because chances are pretty good you don't like selling cybersecurity, you probably hate asking for money, and ultimately, it's a weird conversation that you're not sure how to navigate. This is the video that is going to resolve all of those problems for you. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help people just like you, including MSPs. It doesn't matter if you're an MSP or you're a cybersecurity person, this video is going to be jam-packed with information. If you'd like to learn more about us, head over to growth-generators.com. And if you're an MSP or a cybersecurity person, it pretty much goes hand in hand. Now, if you're a longtime watcher of the channel, or you want to understand or maybe include the tools inside of our MSP pricing calculator, you could throw in your own cybersecurity stuff. By the way, I did hear a bunch of people saying, hey, I'm not getting the email or anything like that, that it would actually go out in. You can go grab the free pricing calculator. It will work now. We've made some changes on there that you can go click through, grab it, and actually get the pricing calculator. And you can actually adjust it and modify it to make it work for you completely for free under the resources tab. If you go all the way up, you'll see resources and then the resources area in there. So let's talk about selling cybersecurity, because a lot of people don't realize that, believe it or not, it's not that hard to sell cybersecurity. Most businesses at this point know that they actually need it. But I want to talk about the elephant in the room. We have to stop selling fear. This is the thing that I see all of the time. Now, if you take any sales training, they basically take the idea of fear, grab it, and shove it down your throat. I know, because I've taken these sales trainings before. And here's the thing: fear shuts people down. They don't want to be afraid. They don't want to be attacked by somebody. I know, crazy concept, right? But the thing is most people don't realize that if you are actually going out and you are going and doing the right thing for your customers, you don't actually need to sell the fear, because fear doesn't make anyone feel good. It feels pressured. You might feel like a sleazy salesperson at the end of it, right? This is the problem. You need to stop saying you are going to get hacked, or it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Of course, that's the case, right? It's like driving a car. It's not a matter of if you're going to get into a car accident. It's a matter of when you're going to get into a car accident. At some point or another, something is going to happen, whether it's you or somebody else's fault or something else's fault. Maybe it's an animal jumps out in front of you. It is going to happen. But I want you to change things. I want you to start asking yourself, or asking the prospects better yet, what if you were down for 5 days? Or what if you couldn't access your network? What would that realistically cost you, right? I have the fake money here. That's really important, because it's not saying, hey, you're going to get hacked, doom and gloom, right? It's completely changing the way that somebody thinks about it and saying, if you were down for 5 days, what would that actually cost you? It's not pressure, but it's painting a realistic image of what could potentially happen. And we want to make it more about the downtime, the payroll, and lost clients, not getting hacked and the fear that's going to hit them immediately. Sell business survival, not panic. We have to remember too, we are doing the right thing for our customer. In many cases, we probably know that we are the best out there doing what we do. Don't let the prospect think otherwise. If you do, they might not actually be interested in buying from you. Two, you have to tie security to money. Now, I'm not talking about fake money, but it really is important. Nobody buys the tools, right? And in here, it's funny enough, on the calculator, I actually have all of the tools and service costs, right? And in many cases, you might have plenty of other ones, right? Whether that's EDR, right? EDR, XDR, it doesn't particularly matter what you have, right? You can add all of these per user, per device, per workstation, however you want to do it, and add it to the right package. But here's the thing: clients don't really care about the tools. When you hire somebody, think about it. When you hire somebody to build you a bathroom in your house or rework the bathroom, now they might ask you what style of tile you want, but they're not asking you, is this manufacturer okay? Or, hey, we're using DeWalt tools or Milwaukee tools. They don't. You never do. Same thing when you buy a car. Are you asking them? Yeah, you might look at the tires, but when you first get your car, you're probably not asking, well, what kind of oil did you put in the engine? It just doesn't happen. They're not buying the tools. They're buying the complete package. And in this case, nobody's buying MFA. Nobody's buying EDR. Nobody is buying SOC. They don't care. What they're doing is they're buying the outcome that your business actually provides. And that's fewer distractions, lower financial risk, fewer insurance headaches, and at the end of the day, peace of mind. Now, some people use peace of mind too aggressively or not aggressively enough. But it's important to channel our inner Bob Ross. If you don't know who Bob Ross was the artist, and if you have some time, it's absolutely therapeutic to go watch him. And he takes shameless plug for my book, by the way, but he always has a canvas. He's got that I think it's called a palette of paint. He's always painting, right? And you want to paint the picture of peace of mind into your customers' minds. If you don't do that, you are going to have a massive, massive problem. We need to think about every tool as a business result, not the tool itself. The car gets you from point A to point B, but the brand, the make gets you there safely with the amount of stuff that you want, within a fuel efficiency. That's what you're actually getting. Little shh. Okay, that's a secret, right? That's actually literally how they sell cars, by the way. And by the way, if you enjoy this kind of content, I would really appreciate it if you took a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to leave a comment saying, wow, I learned something new, or one day Harrison might have hair, I will take that as well. I do appreciate it. I get a good laugh out of those. So let's talk about industry pressure. Now, in many cases, there is industry pressure everywhere. And what I mean by industry pressure is financial firms caring about compliance, they have medical firms caring about HIPAA, construction cares about potential wire fraud, law firms care about reputation and client data, right? We don't want to talk in generic security talk. That's pretty weak. It doesn't give you a strong position when you're actually talking to a client, right? And every industry has something that is doom and gloom over them, right? But we don't want to be generalists. We want to be the best people for them. We want to make sure it's about their world, right? So if you're going after the medical industry, don't say, yeah, we help healthcare companies. We help dentists. We help surgeons. We help general practitioners. We help law offices, right? We help, whether it's IP law firms or divorce attorneys, whatever it may be. But get specific. We want to make this picture, right, and painting that happy place, right, about them, not the whole place. It's very important to actually differentiate that. And one that I think a lot of people don't use, and I hope that you have stayed till the end of this video to learn about this, but you could actually leverage cyber insurance as a lever to pull, because insurance is one of the best closers right now. In most cases, most people are afraid of cyber insurance either not picking up the tab. There's consistent publications of insurance not paying out. There's always problems across the board. Ask them, when was the last cyber insurance? When was the last time you renewed your cyber insurance? When was the last time you read your cyber insurance policy? When was the last time you took your cyber insurance policy and handed it to your technology provider and said, hey, we need to make sure that we meet this? If they haven't, and you can ask this question, you are now tearing open, I feel like Stranger Things, ripping open a void to basically say, hey, if they're not doing this, you might have a bit of a problem. This will help you qualify massively in their brain, right? This guy knows what he's talking about, or girl, right? It helps maintain the coverage. It helps avoid denied claims and makes everybody happy. They're already paying for it. How angry would you be that if you were potentially distracted in the last 10 minutes of your drive when you got into a car accident, it wasn't covered? And I'm saying 10 minutes because I'm sure we've all maybe looked at our phone, looked at the radio, rubbernecked because it was a car accident, anything like that. Well, you're distracted. That's distracted driving. And if that happened in the last 10 minutes, hey, we're not paying out your claim. That would be massive. Absolutely massive when it comes to that kind of stuff. And you have to keep this in mind. It is not something that you can sleep on. I promise you on that one. And last but not least, one of the golden rules that I am telling people now, and I will tell them forever, you have to make sure that security is not optional. If you make it an option, right? It's like insurance. People get the cheapest insurance out there. I don't know why, because I pay a hell of a lot of money for good insurance, but they will cut corners everywhere they can. If they see dollar signs and it doesn't meet your expectations on what they should be doing for this, you are quite literally causing headaches for you down the road. Security is not an option. I wouldn't even let clients think about not having security. If you want them to have a minimum level of security, you include that with the minimum level of service that you actually provide. If you are not willing to deal with that headache, especially if you're in a regulated industry, HIPAA is a prime example. If you are touching their industry, I promise you, I wish I had more hands. They would come and point directly to you and say, this is my IT person. I thought they were taking care of it." And they are going to point the blame on you, and the lawyers are going to look super excited, saying they cannot wait to destroy you in court. So how do you actually sell all this? I've given you a lot here. There's a ton of different ways. You want to run some phishing tests. You want to run risk assessments. You want to run external scans. You want to do whatever you can. Heck, maybe even some basic pen testing. You might even want to go check out, actually, this is not a sponsored video by them, but a really, really cool tool, Landsweeper. It actually shows all of the tools on the network. I will leave a link down below. I am an affiliate of theirs as well. But that's a huge thing, because now you can go through and show, and I really wish I had more things on my desk, but you could show them, boom, hey, this. Did you know about all these things? That is the most important thing, to be able to show them and say, hey, this is what's on the network. Are you even aware of that? And then show them what's inside, right? Email, endpoints, backups, all of that good stuff. Firewalls, when were they last? Showing that data, so that way you have real firepower when it comes to having that conversation. Because without those things and having it fresh on paper, it doesn't work, absolutely. But having that concrete data is a true no-brainer if you're going to go do a sale. So I hope that this helped you. These are some things that I've either talk to many of you guys on, or I just see other people selling cybersecurity as I'm shadowing other IT companies and shadowing cybersecurity people, and they're completely missing these. And if you can change the way you think about every single one of these, you'll have massive, massive success when selling cybersecurity. It's not that hard to do, I promise you. But you have to implement what's in this video, and you will have massive success, and you'll probably beat out a lot of your competitors too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Say, Harrison, put a little fertilizer on your hair. Maybe it'll grow one day. I appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.